Hi, welcome to Living as Latinas. I'm Jakira, and I have my co-host with me, Audi.
Hello.
This this week we will be discussing mental health and how it affects us. What are some things that help and ways to help others? So,
So, with
Audi,
the whole pandemic situation, things have been just getting worse. I see it. I see it in my family. I see it my group of friends, clients in general.
Mhm.
Myself, I have days where I need to use the same coping skills that I tell clients to use. I need to use it myself. Um, so it is definitely getting worse as we speak.
definitely. I can definitely vouch for that. The same thing. Like in the beginning of the whole thing, I was just like, "Oh, this is gonna pass by," and here we are. Like, you know, pretty soon it's gonna be a year.
I know. I know. Like I gave it 3 months. Then I was like, well, yeah, maybe 6 months. Definitely by September. It's
Mhm.
gonna be November, like in 2 days, three
Yeah,
days.
it
And it's
is.
it's it's not I don't know if it's getting worse. I don't know if we are on like you know, stable in a way,
Mhm.
but it's definitely not better.
Yeah.
That I know. Definitely not better.
And if you think about it, like mental health, is one of those things that it's so important. And a lot of people, one, don't talk about it, right?
Right.
Nobody wants to talk about when they're feeling sad, when they're feeling mad, when stuff is going on, people kind of just throw it under the rug. And
Mm-hmm.
then also for Latinos, I feel like it adds another layer. Like we're not growing up, our culture doesn't really talk about these things or introduce these things into us. So like when we go through it, we don't want to be the odd one out.
Exactly. You don't want to
So
be the crazy one in the family, right? The one
mhm,
who goes to therapy or the one who needs medication or whatever it is.
mhm,
And it's definitely something that I hope that our generation is changing for the better.
mhm,
Because I definitely don't remember talking about anything related with mental health growing up. It was, you know, the conversations that people had, but they were on the low. Oh my God, so and so just
lo
nobody
chisme,
knows
lo
what happened.
chisme.
Yeah, nobody knows what happened to her. I always remember, Jackie, that this is like the craziest thing to me now that I know better, right? But I always remember this story about this lady that, she was pregnant. She was like a normal lady, regular lady. She got pregnant. Then she had the baby. And after that, she went crazy. She
Mhm,
went crazy. And nobody understand what happened to her. And with that story, the answer was always witchcraft, which was really scary for me as a kid, right? Like, oh my God, hay brujas. I don't know. I don't want it, right?
yeah,
But
yeah.
and now that I know better, the poor lady was probably going through postpartum depression. Now she's faced with all these people talking behind her back that she probably knows,
Mhm,
right? She's probably feeling inadequate because why am I having all of these things going on with me when hundreds and millions of people have kids and they're fine? And I think that that's where the problem is. No, not everybody is fine. It's just that they're not talking about it.
yeah,
So when you
definitely.
are going through it, you feel like I must be crazy
Mhm,
because I don't know of anybody who's had these feelings. And even when you do know, like when I had my kids, I was already a mental health counselor. And I remember Googling, what do they call it? The blues
The
after
mommy blues.
pregnancy,
Yeah.
right? And I remember Googling, like, how many days is normal? Like, is it because I'm too tired? Is it because I'm not sleeping well? And I found myself doing that, having the training that I have. Imagine everybody else,
Yeah.
which is crazy to me.
And like most people, even if they go to a doctor's office, so when they do like the 6 month postpartum, the 6 weeks postpartum check, so they give you that questionnaire, like if you've been feeling not like yourself, have you been crying more often, are you more irritable, all those questions to kind of rule out postpartum. But in the moment, a lot of people don't answer them correctly because they're afraid of a conversation that might happen after filling those out,
Right.
and I remember myself like, I'm
I definitely
fine.
didn't answer them correctly.
I'm fine. I can handle this. No,
Okay.
I cry, so everybody else cries. You
Uh-huh.
start
Uh-huh.
rationalizing things
Exactly.
because you don't want to have that talk.
Exactly.
Yeah. Most
And
definitely.
I always think about that. Like you and I, with the training we have, and here we are, right? Going through situations and moments when we are making the wrong decision in a way, right? We
Hmm.
are able to have a conversation and we choose not to have it.
Hmm.
And so the culture, all the things, all those stories we heard growing up are ingrained in our brain. And so much that the training and the schooling and seeing clients every day and knowing everything we know about mental health and how it works can't take it away.
Yes. Yeah.
That training we got from everybody, in the culture, it's 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 more, it's bigger. It's bigger than anything else you can learn after,
Hmm.
which is interesting to me too. That, it's like your brain knows what it knows,
and
and
it,
it's
and it
hard.
hard to unlearn
It is. It
it.
is. So how do we help our people? Like, how do we help people who know nothing about how depression works, who know nothing about, we are going through a really stressful situation, and these are the things that, these are the ways your body is telling you that
Yeah.
something is wrong. How do we do that?
I think it's important for us to be able to educate our friends, our other moms that we see,
Mm-hmm.
even our children too, like growing up and being able to talk about days when you're feeling sad, days when you're feeling mad, when you're not happy, when something's bothering you. It's important for us to be able to show that and in those examples so that they understand that that's normal, that's a part of life,
Mm-hmm.
and then if you are giving them the impression that you don't have any bad days or that everything's always perfect, then we're just recreating the wheel. We're doing the same thing that our parents
Exactly.
did for us.
Exactly. And now that you say that, something that I catch myself all the time, it's about asking, but why? You don't need a reason. Or you don't need to understand the reason why you're sad in the moment. It's
Hmm.
not about why. It's about, I am feeling sad right now. And so the right question would be, what do you need from me? Right? Which it's taken really differently from, but why? Because, but why, um, could mean that I'm not entitled to feeling that way
Hmm.
and that I'm doing something wrong just by feeling sad, right?
Hmm.
But just changing the question, I think, changes the whole trajectory of the conversation. Or even if you're going to have a conversation, because but why, it just ends the conversation, right?
But why?
So I am trying, I'm being conscious now more than ever about that, like the follow-up questions that I'm asking. not only in my professional life, but definitely in my personal life. But why, it's not a question anymore. It's
Mm-hmm.
more about, what do you need from me? How can we make it better?
Mm-hmm.
Let's think about yesterday, for example. You were having a really good day yesterday. What was different? What changed? How can we go back to the way that you were feeling yesterday tomorrow, right? Because that is something else. I personally would like to take the pain and the struggle away from my kids, like this, because
Mm-hmm.
let's not feel pain. But I do understand when I'm back into my regular self and not freaking out about things that I don't have to freak out. I do understand that pain is just part of life.
Mm-hmm.
And when you learn to sit with pain, that is actually the best thing to do,
Yeah.
because you're in control. The pain is not controlling you anymore. And I think that those are the little things that I see that make a huge difference. And also, I really think that if we could change those little things, situations like this, like the pandemic and the virus and all of that, would be taken in a more calmer way, because you'll be able to sit with the fact that there is a crazy virus out there
Yeah.
that you can't control. And you'll be able to sit with that and be like, you know what? I can't control it. What can I control? I can wash my hands. I can wear the mask. I can do this. I can do that. Okay, so let's do all of that. And so that would just diminish the stress right away.
Mm-hmm.
But we go to the other, extent to it.
Extreme part. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I can definitely see that, like, I feel like certain generations that are growing up now with the instant gratification
Mm,
and, social media and all those things impact the way we want things to get done and the
right.
way that we perceive the world to work when it doesn't really work that way with everything.
No.
And
No.
so when we have a problem, we look for an instant result, an instant, like, this is what's happening right now. I need you to solve this problem right now. And we tend to use that and internalize it to our own feelings,
Mm-hmm.
So like when we're feeling sad, I'm gonna pick up my phone and watch something on it, and it's gonna instantly make me happy. Or
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna buy myself something instantly and use Amazon because I know it's gonna get here really fast.
Tomorrow.
Exactly. And those things, it's kind of like a band-aid. Like, it
It
doesn't
is.
really solve the problem. The problem's still there. Those feelings are still there. You're just substituting it for something else. And that's
And I
where we
really
create
think, Yakira,
problems.
that it is making it worse,
Hmm.
because now you're adding layers
Hmm.
to the thing, right?
Yeah.
And then one day you wake up and you don't know what to do anymore. And then that's when people have to go to crisis and go and get evaluated at the hospital. And then that's like a new world, right? And so you're not ready to you it must be really hard to go from not even realizing that you're having these feelings all the way to now I'm being evaluated and I have to be here for 3 days, right? It
Hmm.
must be like your world just crumbled.
Crumbled. Yeah.
And I think that with this situation right now, I think that that's where most people are. They're here, not even realizing what's happening within them emotionally, physically, and then just boom, they're here.
Hmm.
And my hope is that we can help people go through a little bit, not even getting here, just go through the motions,
Hmm.
sit with those feelings and find out what they are. Why are they coming to you right now? What is it that you're really afraid of? Is it the virus, or is it your job? Is it the fact that you want to go party and you can't? What is it? Right? And then when you find out what it is, then you can work with it. But
Yeah.
there has to be a process to it.
Just can't. get there that quickly. It's going to take some time and some work.
A lot of work.
Mm-hmm.
And that actually makes me nervous. The amount of work that I know that it takes, and even people who have been in therapy for some time, they find themselves forgetting about everything they have learned about themselves and all the coping skills, all the things that made them feel better. They go through this. It's like the lights just go off and they never go on again,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it is a really difficult time because it's bringing a lot of mental health situations, and it's getting the ones that were already there worse.
Worse, yeah. Or at the same time, the ones that know that they have the skills, now they're able to use it and deal with these things too.
Right.
I've seen some clients like that as well. Like they have all the coping skills, they know how to deal with things and changes, and they're fine right now. They're just like, you know what? I know that I need to stop worrying. I'm going to go do some mindfulness. I'm going to go do some yoga. I'm going to go spend the evening with my nephews and my grandchildren or whatever it may be. And and then they focus on that versus the thoughts that they can't control, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and just work on it that way. So,
And so let's talk about some of the symptoms that people should pay attention to, right? So how do you know when the stress is just taking over? How do you measure when it's time to seek help, when it's time to talk about it with anyone in your family, a professional? How do we know this?
I think that definitely if you noticed that you're having a really hard time sleeping, more
Mm-hmm.
so than usual, if you're having a hard time focusing on work, or you're feeling yourself get angry or irritable more easily at home with your family, like you have no patience. If you're snacking more, so like you're having those moments where you're like, oh, I can't control myself and I have to keep eating and I have to keep eating and you don't know why,
Mm-hmm.
or you're not eating at all, like you go the whole day with just maybe water and coffee or something.
Right.
I think those are all, for like adults, I see those as being prominent symptoms that
Yeah,
something's going on.
I
You know.
agree. And the whole thing about being irritable, people have a hard time identifying that,
Mm-hmm.
because of the thing that we were talking about earlier. Every day is different, and there's a day where it's just not your day, right? And you're
Mm-hmm.
in a bad mood or whatever. But I think it's important to know when it's just being in a bad mood and when it's your mood changing drastically. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And what I've seen, that is one of the most things that people have difficulties with, like understanding where the line is
Mm-hmm.
with that.
Figuring that out.
Yes.
It's always good to ask like somebody that's close to you, that sees you all the time, whether it's a partner, a best friend, your
Mm-hmm.
parents, because they can always give you positive, like the best feedback. They're not gonna hold back.
Oh, they would know. They would
So they're
know
gonna
if
know.
you're freaking out.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes, yes, they would know. So some um what do they call it? The Kaiser Family Foundation, they did a poll back in mid-July,
Hmm.
and they were asking different questions about the same things that you the same symptoms that you were describing, and the numbers were like high, too high for me, I think. Like when I read that, I was like, oh my God. It was good that people were able to identify those
Hmm.
things, right? That's a positive. But oh my God. Like I'll give you some examples.
Yeah.
53% of adults reported that their mental health has been negatively affected due to worry and stress.
Wow.
And I understand, I can see how all this craziness can just, your stress can just boom, up, all the way up, right? 53% of the people, that's more than half.
Mm-hmm.
But that is also, and that's just me thinking, 53% that decided they were going to
Report
accurately
that.
answer the question,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because of the thing we were talking about earlier. It's not, somehow it feels like you're doing something wrong, or you feel like people are going to judge you in a different way if you said, I am having a hard time. What does that mean? Does that mean that I don't know what I'm doing?
Mm-hmm.
Does that mean that I'm not equipped to for life? Is that what it means? So all of us have this preconceived notions about how we want people to perceive us, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then questions like that, it just messes that up. It just does. Because now, oh my God, what is she going to think about me, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I really think it's more than 53% because of that, but
Probably.
53%
Yeah.
decided they wanted to report it. And something interested about that is that 32% answer that they were affected by worry and stress in March. So March, April, so like 3 months, it went up 32% in 3 months. So at the beginning of the pandemic, people were like beginning to feel the stress, right?
Mm-hmm.
By mid-July, it was like, oh my God, I don't know what I'm doing anymore, right? Then 36% reported difficulty sleeping, 32% reported difficulty eating, either eating too much or not eating at all, like you said. 12% increased alcohol or substance use,
Mm-hmm.
and 12% reported a worse chronic conditions. So the chronic conditions got worse.
Mm-hmm.
Those numbers are scary to me. And they're like screaming, we need to do something right now.
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, this is such a global mental health pandemic.
It
You
is.
know,
That's
so many.
definitely how I see it.
Yeah. I mean, kids are still not in school, they're not socializing. You have
Mm-hmm.
people who don't have jobs that are home, that are not able to make ends meet, that may be evicted and losing their homes, their life, their livelihoods. And then you have people who are working through this pandemic that are just as affected, that are, don't have the time to relax and do the things they need to because they're working. And then they're
Mm-hmm.
dealing with their own stuff.
And it gets to be a lot.
Mhm.
There's only 24 hours in a day, and you have to do the regular things that you usually do. But now you also have to think through, how am I going to do it? Because the world changed, right?
Yeah.
So you know what you have to do, you just don't know how anymore.
So some ways that I know that help to reduce these things are like physical activity. This summer, like one of the things that I love that I started doing with my family, because it's hard to be able to find the time to do it by myself, was like going for walks. So I found like different hiking trails that I can bring my stroller in from the
That's
baby,
awesome.
and we would go 2 to 3 times a week. We just go for like 3 hours, just take a long walk during the day, you
Mm-hmm.
know, different things like relaxation techniques, deep breathing, meditation, yoga, all those things.
With so I am not like an outdoor person. And in thinking about, we got to move, we got to do something with the kids, right? What I found was just dancing like a crazy person, right? With them and singing and dancing. And some of these things, they seem to be so effortless in a way. So I understand how people might not even think about those things because
Mhm.
they see it as, dancing, you can, like, that doesn't require a lot of, you know, but
Mhm.
you'll be surprised. Little things like that are the things that add up to your well-being.
Mhm.
If you can dance a little here and you can sing a little there and you can talk to your friend here for a little bit and you can, even if it's gossiping, is sometimes it's just relaxing. Right? Just make sure you're not harming people in the process.
Yeah.
But, just talking to people, being around people. And I know that that's one of the things that really affected people with this situation is the fact that you couldn't do that anymore.
Mhm.
So now we're doing it through Zoom and WhatsApp and all of those things. And it's not the same. I understand that. But we got to do what we got to do, right? You got to take the little things that you have and you have to maximize them
Mhm.
and use them into, like, for your advantage. Okay, we
Yeah.
can't get together, but what else can we do?
Yeah. That Zoom brought in a whole new way of meeting with people on group of friends and families and, being able to share a screen or whatever with so many people at the same time.
Yeah.
It's been awesome.
My best friend and I had like a book club at the beginning of the pandemic, and we would meet through like a video call and talk about the book and talk about the things we were doing and things like that. And that seemed like, at the beginning, with just the idea, it seemed like, it's a cool idea. Let's do it. But I really personally didn't think that it was going to be as helpful as it was. And that was just, you're doing it on your own. And then on a Sunday, you talk to them about it. But that was the feeling that it brought. It wasn't about just learning about a new thing on your own. It was more adding value to other people, adding
Mm.
value to yourself. And in the time that you're doing that, in the time that you're reading, in the time that you are talking to your friends about what you read and what you did with the information, there's no worry because you're into something else. So the more things like that you can do, the less you're going to have time to worry and stress about the other stuff,
That's true.
right?
So true. And I think, like if you feel that your emotions are too much, that you're struggling, that you're having a really hard time, ways that you can get the help that you need, definitely reach out to somebody in your family, let them know what's going on. If
Mm-hmm.
that's too hard for you, you can always go to the local emergency room. They
Mm-hmm.
have people there that can talk to you and help you out. You can go to your primary care doctor and tell her what's going on. That's another way. There's also, like crisis centers that are local to you. Like there's different like suicide lines. There's so many resources out there. There's even like texting ones that you can use, um, which has been awesome because now that we have our phones, we have so much more technology at our fingertips that can help
Yes.
us. There's even like therapy through Zoom that you can do as well. You don't have to leave the comfort of your home anymore to get the services that you need. You don't have to drive, you don't have to do those things. So there's definitely people out there that are willing to help you, if you need the help. Just all you have to do is reach out to somebody.
Exactly. And we do understand that reaching out sometimes, especially to your family, to your friends, might be difficult, you know, because everything we've been talking about, because you don't want people to judge you, because you don't want people to think that it's bigger than what it really is. But just talk to people, talking about your day-to-day life, talking about, I am freaking out about A, Y, and C because of this, and this. That doesn't require a diagnosis. It doesn't require people to freak out about your health, but it helps you talk about it. It's out of your system. That person might have an answer, something that is helping them, and you can join or you can try. You never know where you might find answers. It doesn't have to be um, that you go and you call, the crisis line if you're not ready for that, but start by something, something little, as little as talking to your friend about it, mentioning the fact that, oh my God, like if you don't want to talk about it personally, you can say, my friend is going through this, right?
Yeah.
Or my friend told me about this situation, and you're talking about it. The person is going to add value to that you can take for yourself, even if you are not telling them that it's you who is actually going through that.
That's a
and
good
and
point.
just understand that we are all going through something. We're not going through the same thing, and we're not going through it the same way, but just remember that everybody is dealing with a difficulty, right? Everybody's going through something. And if you can find a group of people that can help you go through it um, in a much easier way, or in a way that you can go through it faster and better, let's do that. Let's help
Yeah.
each other. Let's be there for one another. And that's another thing that I wanted to mention is, whenever I'm make myself available for somebody else, every time, I'm not even exaggerating, every time I walk away with more value for myself, every time. And I go in thinking that, I'm going to help this person. And at the end of the day, somehow I end up being helped. And sometimes it's being helped, with something I didn't know I needed help.
Mm-hmm.
And so be open your heart, open your brain to new opportunities. This is crazy. The world is just crazy,
Crazy right now.
but that might be an opportunity for you to do something that you always wanted to do. For example, a podcast,
I know,
right?
right?
You never know. You never know if this is the opportunity for you to focus on the thing that you've been praying about.
Yeah.
So try to look at things, like sit back and try to look at things from a different perspective than the one that you usually use, and see what happens. Play with it, right? And I know that is way easier for me to just say it than to do it, but practice every day. Do something that make you smile, a little smile, smiling to some. Well, nobody can see your mouth,
Nobody can
but
see it.
the little things. Open a door for someone, hold it for someone, and just that little interaction will start to add little positive feelings to your body, and you're gonna feel it.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna end up feeling it. But if you just focus on the negative ones, and you keep adding negative ones, and you forget about all the positive ones, it's just not gonna work out.
Yeah, definitely.
So don't think that you have to like do this, change the world in 5 minutes. You don't have to do that. You don't even have to change your world, but you can start doing different things so you can then get different results.
So true. Starting off small definitely makes a big difference in the end.
Yes.
Well, thank you for this talk. I hope you guys enjoyed our podcast on mental health. We'll definitely be talking about this more in the future. Please subscribe to our YouTube page, Living as Latinas. Follow us on Instagram. Our handle is Living as Latinas. And if you would like to hear us discuss some topics, you can email us as livingaslatinas@gmail.com. Enjoy your week. And
Thank you.
Remember to be kind to others.
Yes, please. More kindness. We need that. Bye.